The Anti-Test Anxiety Society, written by Julia Cook. My name is Bertha Billingsworth, but everyone calls me BB for short. I'm a pretty happy person. I have a great family, I have a lot of friends, and some of them aren't even human. I like school most of the time, and this year I have the best teacher ever. But I absolutely cannot stand to take tests of any kind. To me, the word test stands for terrible every single time, because that's how I always do on them, terrible. Whenever I see or hear the word test, the hair on the back of my neck stands up, my face turns as red as a beet, I start to sweat, my stomach aches, and I can't control my feet. What if I get every answer wrong and I don't get any right? I just know I'll get a bad grade on this test, so I don't even want to try. My mom and dad say that I'm going to have to keep taking tests of one kind or another for the rest of my life. But now it seems like every time I turn around, I have to take another test. We have spelling tests every week, math tests every chapter, social studies test every unit, and then there's the BST, the big state test. The big one that really counts, even though we don't get graded on it. Last week, I studied my spelling words every single night after school. I knew all of them by Tuesday, but I kept studying anyway. Then on Friday, when I heard my teacher say, "Okay, it's time to take your spelling test," hair on the back of my neck stood up, my face turned as red as a beet, and I started to sweat, my stomach ached, and I couldn't control my feet. What if I spell every word wrong and I don't get any right? I just know I'll get a bad grade on this test, so I don't even want to try. I missed 3, and that's a C. That same day, I had a math test. I knew how to do everything on it, but when I read the word test at the top of my paper, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. My face turned as red as a beet. I started to sweat, my stomach ached, and I couldn't control my feet. What if I get every answer wrong and I don't get any right? I just know I'll get a bad grade on this test, so I don't even want to try. I missed 4, and that's a horrible score. BB, my teacher said as I was walking out the door, your math test score wasn't as high as I thought it would be. Do you want to talk about it? I can't stand to take tests, I said. They freak me out. To me, the word test stands for terrible every single time, because that's how I always do on them, terrible. Sounds like you need to become a member of the Anti-Test Anxiety Society. That's ATAS for short. Well, what's that? The Anti-Test Anxiety Society is a very special club. It's full of kids who believe they can. Kids that show what they're made of. If you can prepare the right way when you need to take a test, when the test comes along, you'll believe you can, and then you can do your best. Test doesn't stand for terrible every single time. You know deep down that's not true. Instead, make the letters in the word test stand for think each situation through. But how do I do that? First of all, you need to start using the get to part of your brain instead of the have to part of your brain. My what? Your brain has 2 parts, the get to and the have to, but one is bigger in size. When you get to do something instead of have to, your brain fills up with try. If you tell yourself you have to take a test, you might be setting yourself up to fail. Instead, if you think, I get to take a test, you'll have a better chance of doing well. Get to, have to, get to, have to. It's your choice which one to choose. Try using your get to brain a lot more. What do you have to lose? Using your get to brain is the key to opening the door to good test preparation. What's that? A good test taker needs to prepare in order to do well on a test. If you will do just 12 simple things, you won't have near as much stress. These 12 simple things called the Dynamic Dozen will lessen your test anxiety. If you will do them, you can become a member of our great society. Here's the list. Tell yourself you can do well. TEST stands for think each situation through. You get to show how much you have learned when you take a test. Lucky you. And I get to see how much I have taught you. Lucky me. Don't cram. It's hard on your brain. Instead, spread out your studying time over a few days or weeks. Practice doing sample problems and look over your class material every day until you take the test. When you study, draw a picture of what you are learning inside your head. Exercise every day. It will make you feel great and it's good for your brain. Get a good night's sleep the night before your test so your brain and body aren't tired and worn out. Stay relaxed. If you start to stress out before your test, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and go on a mini mental vacation. Think about your happiest place and let your mind go there for a few minutes. Just don't forget to come back. Read the directions slowly and carefully, and if you don't understand what they say, ask your teacher to explain them to you. Skim through the test so you know how long it is. Then you won't spend too much time on any question. Write down the important stuff you need to memorize, formulas, facts, definitions, etc. at the top or on the side of your test paper so they don't clog up your brain and you don't forget how to use them. Do the easy questions first to build up your confidence, then you will have more time to work on the harder ones. On multiple choice tests, cross out answers that don't make sense so you can narrow down your choices. Check a random 5. Pick any 5 questions and recheck your answers. If you have time, recheck 5 more. I listened to everything my teacher told me, and most of it made quite a bit of sense, so I decided to give it a try. First of all, I switched over from using my have-to brain to using my get-to brain, and for the past few weeks, I've really tried hard to do all 12 things. I actually think it might be working. Now whenever I take a test, the hair on the back of my neck stays down, and my face doesn't look like a beet. I don't sweat anymore, my stomach feels fine, and I can control my feet. Today, I aced my spelling test and I only missed 1 on math. I'm getting an A in social studies and school's an absolute blast. Before I tried the dynamic dozen, I was filled to the top with anxiety. But now I'm an official member of the ATA Society. To me, the word test used to stand for terrible every single time, but I'm changing the terrible to terrific and I'm feeling mighty fine. P.S. Hopefully this ATA stuff will work on the BST, even though it's not graded. Today we get to take the big state test, and I can't wait to see what you can do.